Okay, you guys, it's the weekend. April 7th and 8th, Friday and Saturday, the sun is in Aries and the moon is in Scorpio. This is a definite chi. If you meet someone, and I'm thinking of someone I know that has this, they are so direct. They are not mincing words. They're not fluffy. They don't have appetite for you to go indirect. They hate subtle and they hate people that do that thing where they say one thing but mean another and it becomes passive aggressive. And they're like, would you stop doing that? They just speak straight. Now, here's the cool thing about today. There's a grand trine in water that's very strong. We have Mars in Cancer. That's the compassionate indicator. Moon in Scorpio, I just told you, straight and direct, and Saturn in Pisces. So that describes compassion. Very rarely do we see a grand trine in water this tight. So we have those three planets. And then if you can imagine a kite, there's a fourth planet. That would be Uranus in Taurus. It complements all of that. But let's just start with the grand trine in water. So it describes the pushy person. In fact, this is so funny because I know someone else with this, who's so direct, does not mince words, make sure that you know where they're thinking and what you should be thinking. They're going to give you their opinion, but they have compassion. So what a great combination for a healer. Because what does a healer do? They come in, they intuit, grand trine in water, what you're feeling. They pay attention to your body and they pay attention to what they're feeling. And then they come in with the sword, Scorpio, and they cut away whatever part of your personality is not serving you. As a healer, myself, someone that's worked with people for a long time, over 40 years, first I let the person complain. Grand trine in water personality types. Oi, this is what's hurting me. You won't believe what he did. This life is killing me. I go, da, 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 da. And then I go, all right, now, here comes the sword. That would be moon in Scorpio and sun in Aries. I'm going to speak straight to this. Okay, I heard you. You're right. Your husband was a complete jerk. He ruined your life. I heard everything you said. And now we need to change that story. What was the teaching? So I was working with this couple and this woman told me about her relationship and we found out that he had an affair and he left and she sat in a room and I worked with her and I found out she didn't really like him. He wasn't really working anymore. He was living off her money. He wasn't taking care of the kids. And the truth was him having an affair was the best thing that ever happened to her. Once we got through the emotional pain, we reframed it with, you know what? This was the gift of gifts because you couldn't figure out how to get out of there and he just nailed the coffin. So when you work with the grand trine in water, you feel, you intuit, then you use Aries Scorpio to be straight. And that combination is a healer. Now, with too much water, too much compassion, you amplify it, you let them be painful. With too much fire and directness, they hurt you and said the truth before they ever heard you. So you've got to be able to hear both enough love with enough truth, and that's the sword. And that's what this day is about. Here we have this weekend, April 7th and 8th, to use the direct energy of Aries Scorpio with the sweetness of that grand trine in water that is a kite to Mercury and Taurus. And that's really an opportunity for all of us to ask, whenever anything really negative happens, Scorpio, like the dramas, the question is always, what am I supposed to learn? But you can't bypass. You can't skip the water. You got to get angry. You got to get sad. You got to hold your resentment until it reaches that Aries point where we're going to change that story. So that's today. This is the time this weekend for you to review whatever you've been complaining about. See if it's not been too long because you need time and then change the narrative. That's called reframe. And that's what I teach. Astrology Answers wanted me to tell you that if a baby were born with this, what a great healer and a truth teller mixed all in one. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about the 4 elements, my favorite topic, what your missing element is, and figure out how to get more balance in your life, just click the link in the description to grab your copy of my book, The Missing Element, today.